Welcome. Thank you. Welcome everybody to our Mars project. This is the first session in 4 that will be coming up. Mastering mentorship, membership, and retention successfully. Today, it's a fast-paced, interactive workshop. We'll start it off with our first speaker. As you can see in your workbook, is Danielle Lacey. Please mute yourself during the speaker section, and then we'll be back for more breakouts. Please welcome Danielle Lacey.
Hello, friends. My name's Danielle Lacey, and I'm here today to talk to you about Facebook. On this Zoom call, we'll be utilizing the chat, so please text in any questions that you have, and I will try to answer them as we go. And if you have any questions for our Q&A at the end, if I don't get to your question today, I will send an email to everybody with their lingering questions. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you. All right. Can everybody see that? Awesome. So since I only have 15 minutes, I want to jump right in. The number one question I get when I'm working with startups is, why do I need to use Facebook and other social media? And most of the time, people who have never used social media are absolutely terrified of it. If there is anyone on here today that feels that way, don't be embarrassed. Type me in the chat. Because to be honest, I personally feel that way about TikTok. And to let you know on a secret, I used to feel that way about all social media. So what are the benefits of Facebook and social media? Number one, social media helps you to deliver better customer service. People don't have to come to your location, your meetings, or find your website to see what your company does. They can ask you on Facebook and wait for a quick reply. Much easier. Social media branding and building differentiates you from other people. What exactly is a brand? A brand is an identity that's made up of what you say, what your values are, how you communicate your product, and what you want people to feel when they interact with it. So essentially, your brand identity is the personality of your business and a promise to your customers. To make it simpler, let's look at the Toastmasters branding. So this here is our Toastmasters branding page. For our tagline, we have "Where Leaders Are Made." So when we are creating our Facebook pages for our social media, for Toastmasters, we have to follow the branding guidelines. When you're doing this for your own company, you follow your own personal guidelines. So for me, when I'm doing my author page, it's completely different than when I'm the VPPR of Toastmasters. I can't join them. I can't have the same information. I have to stick to certain colors, certain questions, and things like that. So I did attach to your worksheets a branding manual that you guys can go into, click on the link, and you'll see what Toastmasters wants your pages to look like. Number 3, social media helps you to manage your reputation. You are constantly showing people what you want them to see of your company. So instead of just word of mouth, which is wonderful and perfect, you're letting them know this is who we are, this is where we're going, this is what we're selling, whatever it may be for any type of company that you're running. Number 4, social media helps to increase trust in your business and your brand. So this moves us to the trust factor. People will trust a business that others are sharing. So if just today, somebody shared a post and I was like, I love that product. Right away, I ordered the product because I knew if my friend was saying, this is a great product, that I was going to want to be a part of the product. Same thing happens with us sharing from our Toastmaster pages. People who see that will say, if this person's doing Toastmasters and they're growing and they're getting better and I'm watching that happen, I'm going to join too. And that's exactly what we want. Number 5, social media allows you to obtain real customer insights. It is very hard to get reviews on anything you do. I'm an author and I've sold tons of books, but yet on my author pages, it looks like I've only had 35, 40 reviews. On Facebook, though, I can get more reviews by sending out information. For the Toastmasters too, when people review your page moves up. You'll be able to see what's working, what's selling, what's growing, what's not working. This will help you change your direction if needed with your marketing and your own social products. Social media is a great way of promoting your content, whatever the content may be. If you're promoting your products, or for Toastmasters, we want to promote to become the best speaker you can. For a store, it may be the products that are more superior than your neighbor's products, the products that you want people to be buying right now from you. Number 7, social media helps your customers engage directly with you. I don't know how many times I've tried to call a facility to ask a question if they have a product, don't have a product, and you can't get through to anybody. The social media pages usually respond back very fast. It's a good thing to do. Through posts, you can start to see a pattern of the products that you should have, products that people want, posts that work, and how to grow those posts. And I will show you some of them later. Number 8, social media will drive website traffic. This is important for any of you that are, sorry about that, give me a second, boom. This is important for any of you that are trying to push any type of sales. And Toastmasters, even though we're not a sales company, we're trying to gain more followers, more people to come in. So your website is really important. I constantly am sending people back to the main Toastmasters pages so that they can see all the information they can get for free from Toastmasters. When people go on there and they start to see like, oh, I can learn this, I can learn how to be funny, I can learn how to be humorous. That is what we want. So the Facebook page is more so to drive people over to the websites. So you want to make sure the website is visible everywhere. Everything you post, you want to just keep talking about the website. Go to the website for this, go to the website for that, right? You want people going to the website and finding out more about your company or the product that you're pushing. For Toastmasters, send them to that main Toastmasters page. If you're going to jump all the way in, these 4 platforms are the ones that we should be using. These are the ones that I would suggest starting with. Facebook is one of the easiest platforms to start off, to understand, and to start to grow. If you could write in the chat whether or not you have a Facebook page, regardless, anywhere, for your personal self, for your business, for Toastmasters, if you're here learning about that, please write in the chat exactly what you do or don't have. That way I can look at it later and help you out when we go into our breakout sessions. So Facebook and Instagram go hand in hand. They are connected together for convenient sharing. What you put on Instagram will automatically show up on Facebook. So in our next seminar, I'm going to talk about Instagram and how to connect the Instagram with the Facebook. And now all of a sudden your life just became easier. You're running 2 social media outlets with the same exact information. Don't feel overwhelmed. I just brought our Toastmasters voice page to life. And Instagram, I just opened the other day. You're going to want to take your time growing the social media. It will be 3 months before anything starts to grow organically. So if you do not have a Facebook page at all, I want you to take a picture of this link that I just posted. And I want you to start creating that Facebook page. Regardless, even if it's just for a personal page for you to have to connect with people, it's really a good idea to have. Did everybody get that picture? Good. All right. In the meantime, let's talk about the voice that you want to have on your page. So you don't want to be pushy, too salesy. A lot of times, and I did this when I started, you don't know. So the first thing you're doing is just pushing what you have, trying to get people to jump in and join and come to whatever it is and buy whatever it is you're trying to sell. So we lose sight when we do that of what our real message is and what our core values are. We don't want to be too casual because then people won't know what they're supposed to be doing. You have to have a call to action on your Facebook posts. whether it be you're asking a question or you're selling something or you want them to just like something. So what do you want to do? You want to make sure that you're taking care of the business. Always. I'm going to show you some of our page. And I decided to put out a question, right? So my question that I wrote on our Toastmasters voice is this: what could you talk about for 30 minutes without any preparation? When I put out this post, I shared it. And I'm going to show you guys how to do the sharing when I bring you on to my actual Facebook page. When I did the shares, I personally, as a VPPR, shared it with 20 different people, different locations. In our area, we have zip codes, so 08088, 08054. Our towns each have their own pages. So I shared it on all of the pages. By doing that, if you look at the picture, you'll see that it has 15,186 engagements. Engagements means that 15,186 people liked, talked about, said something, or shared this one post that we talked about. So it reached 63,000 people. That means that 63,000 people saw it. Your reach is different than your engagement. And you always want to make sure that your engagements are higher. So even on some posts, I'm going to show you when we click over to there that some of my posts have like 3 likes, some have none. And we're going to look at that. We're going to analyze, well, why is that? Why are some of these not getting any, whereas other posts are getting tons? One thing I can tell you is people love to talk about themselves. So if you're posting something on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you want to ask a question, that is when you're going to get the most response out of them. And this is what you want. This is what engagement on social media means. So it means people clicked, liked, reacted, started the conversation. And this will start to cause what's called organic growth. The organic growth inside of any company is achieved by increasing output and enhancing your sales, or in our case, signups. So when you open up a personal Facebook page, you can go and you can find your friends and they like you and you like them back. When you start your own business page, you can recruit your friends and then hope that they share with friends. Unfortunately, guys, when you start a club page, you don't want to invite your personal friends unless they're in the club, right? That makes it a little bit more difficult. So the only invites you have are the people in your actual club. My club has 18 members, of which 7 are on Facebook, of which 4 have become my Facebook friends with our Toastmasters voice. When I took over this position, that was a problem. I had to figure out how to organically 100% grow the page. And a lot of businesses will start this way. So when people see my posts that I'm sharing and they like it because of the content, then they start to become fans. When I started this 3 months ago, I had 4 fans. I actually became number 5. So when I started understanding Toastmasters branding and pushing the growth in October, from October to January, we went from 5 likes to 121 likes. Not bad for 3 months without being able to invite my friends. If I could invite my friends, we could have like 800 likes, but nobody's going to react and interact with my page, right? So this is the hardest challenge. Is everybody with me at this point? Shake your heads. Let me see you. Awesome. Awesome. So you can write yes, or you can write WTH if you're not with me, and I can get back with you later. So let's look at this real quick before I move you on. This is called Insights. On your page, and I'll show you this again, this will show you that from January 2nd to January 29th, the people that were reached. So my page alone, from that time frame, just in January, we hit 69,000 people. We went up 95 page likes, and we had 18,000 post engagements. This is what you want. Now, this happened over time. This is 3rd month of running it, 3rd month of figuring it all out, pushing it, understanding what the Toastmasters people will respond to, getting new members in. So this type of growth, it doesn't just happen overnight. So give me a second. I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to switch you guys over to our Toastmasters voice. So this is our Toastmasters voice. And I want everybody to go and like this page immediately. Yay. Thank you so much. We're going to grow this page. And with doing so, I will start sharing things from your pages, and you'll start sharing things from my page. And by sharing all of these different things, so if you come onto my page, right, and you see this worked, I'm in New Jersey, share it. It will work where you are too. So let's look at this. I'm going to go down a couple down. Okay, so here is that post I posted recently, which is the what could you talk about 30 minutes out preparation. And you can see all the engagements, right? As we go up, you'll start to notice, so I posted about our Toastmasters competition coming up. Fantastic. It's really exciting. Nobody really liked it. We had 4 engagements, 2 likes, 39 people reached. This didn't get as far. I didn't do any shares on this because it was kind of like I'm talking to the club itself, right? We're going to go up higher. Now, I ask a question. So what I do is I'll post something fundamental that's going on. Then I'll post a fun question. And then I'll post, oh, a winner in a competition. And I switch it up every time I do a post so that I'm not boring my followers and losing my followers, and that it just continues to grow. So here I said, if you could ask one person in history one question, what would you ask and what would it be? Again, people like to talk about themselves. 2,776 engagements. Now, you guys all know this is a table topic. I am completely following the branding rules of Toastmaster. Table topics. Posting these table topics and sending them out to people and sharing, which I'm going to show you in a minute. These are our shares for this page. So I sent it to Tabernacle News and Info, 4,000 members in this group, 20 people respond. Writers and artists share because it's a site I'm in. And you might as well write about it, right? International readers, Yardley Borough, Morristown. When you guys go onto your Facebook, if you type into your search Facebook in your area, you can find Facebook pages in your area that you're allowed to share things in. And I can help you with this further. And if you just send me an email, I'll totally help you out on where to find these and how to do it. So every time, so here, congratulations, Jonathan, you won and you're going to the speech competition. Awesome. 1 engagement. Not worth boosting, not worth sending out there, not worth pushing. Coming back up, what's your favorite photograph? What story does it tell? Again, reached 10,000 people, 488 engagements, 22 shares. This is how you grow your Facebook pages organically, by doing these little tiny steps. And then I always put some information for the new people joining. So I know that we had 93 page likes. Well, I can't just keep giving them this type of information. I have to give them more. So here, I want you to join. So I'm going to tell you how to write your speech. Here is the Toastmasters information. Now people are clicking on this link. Where are they going? Boom, Toastmasters, right to the website. And that's what you guys want to do when you connect this all together. You want to send people, whether it's your business. For me, for my author page, I send people directly over to my author website. For you guys, for the Toastmaster pages, it's here. If you're selling purses or anything, then you want to be able to send it over to wherever that website is that's going to make you better, higher, more sales, whatever it is that you need to be gathering and growing from. All right. So another thing, let me share again. Sorry, I have to keep switching screens, friends. Oops, wrong screen. Hold on. Can you guys see anything right now? What do you see? I need somebody to unmute.
Your
We're seeing
last
the
screen you
Toastmaster screen.
shared.
You're still seeing that. Give me a second. Stop sharing that. I'm trying to get you guys back over to this last part. In your, there it is. In your paperwork that I had given you, this is the last step we're going to talk about. So on top of the social media and growing the social media, there's another step that I call the daily power of 3. So for the daily power of 3, this is for you to slow down and consider the people that you're trying to reach. Because no matter what you do, if you're going to put together a Facebook page in general, Instagram, Twitter, it doesn't matter. You're trying to reach people, but you have to really know who the targeted audience is. And you have to retain them. You have to keep them. Retention is really important or people will just go away. So one of the ways that I retain people throughout each of my businesses is I contact the 3 people that I've worked with before, and I just say, hello, how are you? We miss you. Even if it's from the Facebook page, I'll just reach out and say, hey, how are you doing? I want nothing from you. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not doing anything. I just want to make sure you're doing well and things are going great. We've had a snowstorm. How did the snowstorm go for you? And I kind of will do that, reach out. And if you do these 3 things, the power of 3 every day, you will watch your business go and just grow fast. This is that energy. If you put your energy into it, things will grow philosophy. The second set that I would ask is, can you join me? 3 other people I reach out to and say, hey guys, will you join my Facebook page? I need some more followers. I'm just trying to grow my social media. 3 a day. That way you're not like sending it out to Bob and Joe and Mary and they're like, so sick of this person always asking. You're spreading it out and you're asking different people all the time. And the third thing is contacting 3 people and saying, hey, how can I help you? What are your needs? Again, we talked about people like to talk about themselves. So if you reach out to somebody and say, hey, I need, I'm looking for a shoemaker. I need a shoemaker. And you go, oh, you know what? I have a shoemaker for you. Give me 5 seconds. I'm going to send that over to you. You've just made a new connection. Now, when you reach out to that person and say, hey, going backwards, do you think you can help me get 3 more likes for my social media? I'm trying to grow slowly. Is there 3 friends that you can think of? Now you just help that person. That person's now helping you and everybody feels good about it. I promise you, if you follow these couple steps and just kind of start putting this together slowly, you will grow your social media by leaps and bounds. In 3 months, we went from 4, including 5, including myself, to 121 new people signing in. And we have 4 new members in just the last 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. That was very informative. And please keep track of Danielle will be at our next session of the Mars 2 project. Our next speaker is Marc Haine. Marc Haine's bio is at the back of the book, and we're just going to jump right into Marc because I know we're running just a little bit behind.
Sorry.
Please welcome Marc Haine.
Thank you very much. So nice to have everybody here. Thank you so much. You know, in 2017, a Gallup poll said that 33% of workplaces had engaged employees. 33% were engaged. That's 3 out of 10 people. The poll also said that a full 16.5% of people were fully disengaged, that they were an active detriment to their organization. That left about 55% of the people just doing their jobs, not getting involved, but just doing their jobs. In industry associations and service clubs, we are seeing membership drop off at an enormous rate. People are finding other things to do in associations than attend meetings. It's like we are kind of, as leaders, we're trying to scrounge value for our members. We're trying to find reasons to get them in and try to get them to get active. And it's like they all get on the wheel together, which is really great. It's a lot of fun. It's exciting. It's fun. But then at some point, if we don't fulfill their needs, we kind of leave them hanging. And if we're lucky, they'll stay on, they'll stay engaged while other people move off. But this is a vicious circle. We keep recruiting engaging, bringing people on, losing people. And I'm sure in Toastmaster clubs, this is no different. And I actually have a quote from a Toastmaster named Steve that he left on a review site on the web. And his quote was, "For more than a year, I felt the disconnect building. Toastmaster meetings have become easy and predictable to the point of being boring. I skipped a lot of meetings this past year because I didn't see much point in going. On the occasions that I did attend, I realized I was mainly there to hang out with friends, but not because I wanted to attend Toastmasters. I haven't given a speech in my club for about a year. It doesn't make sense in terms of cost opportunity for me to continue working on Toastmaster speeches. The feedback I receive isn't particularly helpful to me anymore. I get no value of doing a 7-minute speech or performing other various roles." So the question I have for you, by a show of hands, is how many people know people like Steve? And I think I just have to switch my thing to gallery view so I can see everybody's beautiful face. Right? We know people. Okay, how many people, keep your hands up if you felt like Steve yourself? Right? So quite a few people. And maybe give me a big wink if you felt like Steve, but you don't want to say anything because your club executive is on the call and you don't want them to make you feel bad. Nobody? No, not really? Okay. The scary thing is this is also happening at Lions clubs. It's happening at Rotary clubs. And it's happening at various different associations across North America. The conventional wisdom, or there's a quote that I'd like to share with you, and that is that the conventional business wisdom contends that it costs about 10 times as much to obtain a new customer as it does to retain an existing customer. And the scary part with this is that this is no different if you're trying to attract, engage, and retain employees. And it's no different if you're trying to attract, retain, and engage members. So we need to have an active strategy to deal with the various different levels of engagement in our organization. We must understand our members' needs and the questions our members, employees, and customers ask in each step of our engagement. This is actually a path, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to warn you that we will be flying through a lot of detail, so I encourage you to take screenshots at will. As much as you want, take screenshots, take screenshots. That'll give you the notes at your fingertips, and it'll pollute your hard drive with this mug. So you should have the worksheet. The worksheet is, I think I actually lost my worksheet. So the worksheet is there. We're going to be working only on page 1. And the reason being is because page 2 is for you to take the information to your teams and review them with your teams to find out what works and what doesn't work. You'll be able to list out the various different steps of engagement, and then you can write out what are the people's needs based on the demographic that you're serving, and then what are the questions they're asking. So I'd like you to take page 2 and apply the learning you get today, but do it with your teams. And before we can start, we must define some really basic needs that everybody involved in organizations have. This is something that, everybody's heard of the Maslow hierarchy of needs, so I don't want to rehash that. But really at the basic core of it all, when it comes down to people engaging with our organization, whether that's on social media or in person, there are some requirements that people want. And so those requirements are things like they want to belong. Everybody needs to feel like they're a part of a community. It's no longer just good enough to do transactions. Transactional relationships don't work anymore. People want a relationship. They want to be able to feel that they can contribute or know how they can be a part and a contributing factor to that community. They want to feel like they matter. The worst thing in the planet, I'm sure everybody in this room right now watching this has at some point been treated as a customer, but felt like they didn't matter. Whether it's a sales clerk not paying attention to them, a server not following up with them, whatever that looks like, we've all felt what that feels like as a customer. We've also felt it as a member, haven't we? And we also want to know, members also want to know that they can learn, grow, and develop. I have a theory that I believe that most people do not want to be in the same condition this time next year as they are today. I think everybody strives for something more. why don't you, in the chat box, why don't you type a loud yes in the chat room if you agree that this time next year you want to have a different reality, you want things to be different, you want to be able to evolve in a positive way. So these basic needs will seed each step of the engagement process. Look at all these people. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, right? Because we don't want to stay the same way. We don't want to keep living the same thing over and over again. We want to be able to evolve. That's why we read books. That's why we binge on Netflix, because we want different experiences. So these basic needs, these 4 basic needs, they need to seed each step of the engagement journey. And the journey is highlighted on the graphic. So what I'd like you to do is on the page is fill in the graphic for yourself and make notes based on your ideas as we go through each one of this. By the way, I know that it's already been flogged like crazy so far. It's in the paperwork and stuff, but this is chapter 18 of my book, which you can get on Amazon or on my website. Okay, I'll stop. The first step in any journey, once somebody has found out about you, is that they become a prospect. So the prospect is a very important component of the journey, because this is where somebody was on the website, they were on a Facebook page, and they found something that was something resonated, and they decided to check you out. And so this prospect comes out and he wants to check you out, but he's got certain questions and certain needs. You need to know who they are when they come knocking on your door, and you need to know what they need, right? So they come in and they have questions. They want to know, who are you? They want to know, what can you do for me? I saw the ad. Is this right for me? Am I the perfect person for this? What's involved? How can I benefit? They want to know, what's it all about? The prospect has doubts. Are you just another person trying to sell me something? But if you can show them the benefits, if you can answer the questions, if you can build trust, well, then they become newbies. And newbies, I have to tell you, when you get into newbie world, it's a whole new thing. Because as a newbie, this is the most engaged this person will ever be. It's the most engaged a customer will be when they do a transaction with you for the very first time. It's the best feeling that the new employee will have when they walk in that door on that first day. They are all gung-ho. And a newbie member is the most engaged when he signs over that check for that membership dues. And so they are coming on board, but they're learning the ropes. They've committed now. I've signed the check. I've sent you the money. I want to get involved. And they are passive, but only passive because they're new. They're still checking things. They got their toe in the water. Did I make the right choice? Can I benefit from this? Is this meeting my needs? You know, newbies need a lot of support. They need a lot of mentorship. They need a lot of coaching. They need a lot of encouragement. And I know that people have the phrase onboarding. Well, onboarding or orientation, or whatever you want to call it, is a very important part of that, because that's where you migrate the prospect into the newbie by getting through all the promises that you're making to this new person. And if they're well supported, the newbies if well supported, the newbies are fresh blood. I don't know if you've seen it, but when you have members in your club and a new person comes in, how much more energy does the club have? Many of the old hats will get a fresh energy and they'll get fresh perspective. They like to live vicariously through the newbies. I remember when I was a brand new Toastmaster, everybody was so excited for me. I was scared to death. But everybody was so excited that I was there. And it was like, when was the last time you got a new member? Because this feels a little strange. But I have to say, if their needs are being met, then they migrate. They migrate from being a prospect to a participant. At this level, they have found purpose. At this level, you've earned their trust. They're now becoming engaged. They now want to be part of the group. This is where the community comes in. They are officially a part of the community. And they are melding the intrinsic value and the extrinsic value. That is, How can I participate with what can I do? What's in it for me? Plus, what can I do to help out? And they need to know that any contributions they are making a difference. They, again, as they did for the newbie, putting their toe in the water, as a participant, they're putting their toe in the water to get involved. And they are asking, do I belong? Am I making a difference? How can I help? Am I getting value? Is there more? Are you listening? Even bigger, are you responding? They need to know what's next. Participants need recognition for what they do. I fully believe, even in business, what gets recognized and rewarded gets repeated. That means when somebody does something and you reward them for it, you can bank that they're going to keep on doing it. Participants need support, coaching, and mentorship. And they need to be thanked whenever they get involved. But a word of caution about the participants. If participants kind of walk this tightrope. As I mentioned, we build it on trust and by delivering on our promises. The fact that they've given you their trust, and if they ever feel slighted, if they felt used, manipulated, or exploited, they will very quickly become disengaged from you. They will distance themselves. But keep the level of service and trust high, and they'll become one of your biggest ambassadors. Ambassadors are where values and belief systems are aligned. They live, breathe, and speak to what you do and what you say. This is what Danielle was saying before about this idea with brand. Once they understand all this, they become part of that brand. They talk your brand. They become the person who gets up on the soapbox to tell everybody how great you are. In business, they are trusted and valued. They feel that they have a voice and that they make a difference. Social media is full of brand ambassadors who talk about how good the brand is. The ambassador is a place where they are constantly asking, how have I made a difference? What else can I do? Do you love me as much as I love you? You'll notice that the questions are changed. They're different. Because now it's all about extrinsic. It's all about what can I do to give to my organization. And these people need to be nurtured and they need to be celebrated. These are your mentors. These are your PR people. These are the people worth absolute gold. Is this making sense? In the chat, is this fun? Just why don't you click the reaction button and give me the big thumbs up if that's working for you. So we've just painted the picture of perfection, haven't we? We've gone through the prospect, we've gone through the newbie, we've gone through an active participant, we have ambassadors. This is great. If in this model, if we have the perfect organizational engagement, everybody's happy, everybody's feeling validated, everybody's feeling engaged, but that's not the reality, is it? I mean, if at one level of the journey their needs are not met, they don't regress. People don't go from being an ambassador, get angry at something and decide, oh, okay, I'll just become a passive participant. No, they don't. That's not how we work. If our ambassador is not happy, if our participants aren't happy, if our newbies aren't happy, they go into this big pool of tainted. This pool is huge. As I mentioned at the beginning, 16.5% of employees are actively disengaged. These are the cancers to the organizations. What I didn't tell you was that the remaining 55 or so are also sitting in this pool. I mean, they're sitting in the pool, they're slightly active, but they're not really engaged. They sit around, they do the bare minimum, but they don't really do anything. In our clubs, they don't participate, they don't volunteer, and they are always making excuses like, I'm sorry, I don't have time. Does this sound like people you know? The other reason why the tainted pool is so big is that it is being fed by the newbies, the active participants, and the ambassadors. This is what happens when we don't meet their needs, when we don't fulfill their expectations. So we have all these people in this pool, roughly about 6 out of 10. So what are you going to do about it? Well, We've seen time and time again, they hang around the pool until they decide to go. They say that, by the time somebody decides to quit their job, they've been actually quit for about 3 months. For the actively disengaged, the cancers of our group, the people who drive us crazy, when they quit, we go, ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead. But for the rest of us, we take a look and we say, why are we losing all these members? Because really, the tainted, when they get so severely disengaged, at some point, they're just going to be gone. And we start wondering, what are we doing wrong? How come people aren't sticking around? If we can recognize that the majority of our members are sitting in this tainted pool, that their needs aren't being fulfilled, this is a time where we can either just let them go, or they're just going to fall off the bandwagon and they're going to go for good, or we can then take steps to maybe re-engage. We can find out what it is that has kept them at a distance. Why aren't they being engaged? We could go through the needs analysis that we just did for the various different areas. And you notice that the green arrow didn't go, it only went to the active participant, because somebody's not going to get re-engaged by becoming a newbie. They're going to come in as an active participant, but it's up to us then to make sure that we are taking care of our people. Understanding the needs of our people through each step of their journey with us and exceeding the expectations that they have give us the ability to not only attract them, but it also turns them into fierce ambassadors of our brand. And it's at that point when you can have people coming together as a group that you know that you're winning the battle of engagement and you've taken people through this journey. It's wonderful delivering to you today. Thank you so much for your time. So now, I believe what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going into breakout rooms. And Carol has asked me to kind of facilitate that with you. So what we're going to do, we have 24 people in the room. So I think we're able to break people off into threes. And so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing something I like to call masterminding. You've just received a whole swack of information, right? Between the social media and now talking about engagement, there's a little bit of crossover. So now what we'd like you to do is we're going to break you out into rooms of three. And how masterminding works is in the room, you're going to go by alphabetically. You're going to start alphabetically with the very first person closest to the A is going to become a client. And they're going to talk about a challenge that they have within the context of this learning. And the other two people are going to act as coaches. The coaches will just, for 2 minutes, the coaches are going to listen to what the client has to say. They have 1 minute to ask clarifying questions. And then once that's all wrapped up, the coaches are going to together, without the input from the client, are going to discuss the client's problem. The client, in the meantime, is going to be sitting down and jotting down everything that he or she hears. Okay, so again, we're going to have a client who's going to take 2 minutes to discuss a challenge that they have. 1 minute, the two coaches will clarify with the client what the challenge is, just to get clarity. And then the coaches will take 2 minutes and they will talk to each other while the client takes notes about the client's problem. And that'll take us to 5 minutes. At that point, we're going to switch to the next person in the thing, and the client now becomes a coach. One of the coaches becomes a client, and we start the process all over again. And we'll do this for each person, and we'll be all wrapped up in 15 minutes. Any questions about this? Go ahead and unmute yourself if you have any questions.
Welcome, everybody. Hopefully that was fun. Excellent. Everybody is...
I just still think we're waiting for a couple of people in rooms.
Okay, sounds great.
It's either that or we've dropped off a lot of people. I guess, yeah.
Well, we gave them the chat to come back in. So...
Oh, here they come.
There we go. There we go.
There we go.
Carol, pictures on your phone now. You can check it anytime.
So
Thank you.
welcome back, everybody, to the second part of our session today. Just by a show of hands, how many of you felt that went way too fast? It's the number one complaint I get when I do these little sessions, that there wasn't enough time to do everything, but it also forces people to be honest. By giving you a short time frame, we push you into a corner where it's like, okay, I've got to get the stuff out. And so you do a lot less filtering. And because of that, brainstorming becomes a little bit more positive, and I hope it worked out for you. I will now pass the visual lectern over to Carol at Wetaskiwin Toastmasters.
Thank you, Mark. I'll just remind everybody to put their speaker back on mute. Our next speaker tonight will be Nehal, Tanna, Toastmaster of the Year in 2020, Area Director, and 2019 Jedi Master. Nehal Tanna is Risk Manager at Bank America headquarters in Charlotte, North Carolina. Nehal joined Toastmasters in 2016 and has achieved 2 DTM awards as of 2020. Nehal is a mentor-mentee program chair at Bank of America, which in her addition to her daytime job as a risk manager at Bank of America, Nehal has been mentoring several individuals of various ages and ethnicity since the past few years, which includes being a mentor of the Bank of America Project Management Institute of North Carolina, Dress for Success organization, and many more. Please put your hands together to welcome our guest speaker, Nehal Tanna. And this is Mentoring Secrets.
Thank you, Carol, and good evening, everyone. Show your hand if you have ever experienced mentor-mentee relationship. You can also make use of the reaction and show a thumbs up if that's easier. Okay, I see that some of us have experienced that relationship. Now, before I go ahead and share the mentor-mentee secrets, I would like to tell you that mentor-mentee relationship is often understood as Toastmasters Limited, but it's not. Mentor-mentee can be at your work. Mentor-mentee can be in your personal life. Mentor-mentee can be in your social setup. And mentor-mentee definitely can be in the world of none other than Toastmasters International. Today, I'm going to share some secrets with you. When you're a mentor or you're a mentee, doesn't matter. I'm going to share secrets for both of them to have a better relationship, to be able to get the best out of your mentor-mentee relationship with each other. I'm also going to share how and when it can benefit you and what all are the tips. I have a mentoring playbook that I've created for you. Be rest assured if you're unable to make notes while I'm talking, because I'm going to be talking at this pace, Carol is going to share with you a document after this presentation, which is a ready document, which is all the tips ready for you to use right after the presentation. The tips are about for mentors as well as for mentee. So in either roles you can go ahead and use it. It's ready to use. It's tested on human beings, not on animals. It has worked perfectly. Everybody has loved it. And all of my mentors and mentees have had a successful experience. If it doesn't work for you, guess what? You were never a part of this presentation. You don't know me. I don't know you. That was a joke, but I know it would work. With that said, before we proceed, I want to just quickly have a glance so that all of us can understand, and I'm sure most of us know this. What is mentoring? Sometimes people misunderstand or people get confused between mentoring and coaching. Now, know that these two things are extremely different. Mentoring is something, it's a kind of a relationship that's basically focused on supporting, making sure that your mentor is sharing wisdom, the teaching, the lessons, and support to the mentee. However, your mentor is not responsible to keep a track of your actions on your day-to-day basis or advise you on your day-to-day projects. That's where the coach comes in the picture. Coach is someone who is duration focused, and he or she is focused on strengthening your behavior, your coaching, your correct behavior, and your actual goal, and the activities oriented or which takes you towards that goal. So there is a huge difference between coaching and mentoring. It is a good idea to not mix them, because that's when the expectation setting gets a little bit confusing. And when your expectations from your mentor as a mentee is not clear enough, your relationship can be conflicting and you can easily not make the best use of time with each other. In either of the relationship, helping, supporting, guiding, and advising, especially in mentoring, these arrows that shows on my screen here, is definitely going to be a part of it. Mentoring is an important priority. It's not one of the priorities, or it's not one of the things that you may want to do it. Once you give priority to mentoring, it's going to be an active activity when both the partners, mentor and a mentee, needs to be active and needs to give a similar priority in order for both of them to build the relationship. Make use of a chat and tell me, why do you think is mentoring important? It doesn't matter. You can take an example of any setup: your personal life, your professional life, your social life, your Toastmasters life. It could be anything. No answer is a wrong answer. And I'm not going to show up at your door haunting you if you give an answer that I don't like. I promise. So feel free to consider this a safe space and just shoot an answer in the chat. Your time starts now. I see someone said, helps both parties to grow. Top way to learn and develop for improving one's performance. Excuse me. Excuse me, I'm getting old. Coworker makes me accountable. Mentoring is important in building relationships with others to all grow. These all are the right reasons. I absolutely agree with all of the reasons that you mentioned. Mentoring is also helpful for your professional growth, like Karen mentioned. It also helps both the parties. Now, when I initially started mentoring, I used to think mentoring only helps the mentee, and it's all in it for mentees and not for the mentors. But let me tell you this, it's a give and take relationship. You'd be surprised how much as a mentor you get to learn. And of course, as a mentee, there's tons of benefits, but mentor and mentee are both able to invest as well as learn from each other. While we do that, it is a good idea for us to understand that there could be many types of mentoring models. A couple of models that I have understood and come across are, it could be one-on-one or one-to-one mentoring or peer group mentoring. Now, one-to-one mentoring could be me and Margaret can be my mentor or my mentee, and we can have one-on-one relationship. We spend one-on-one time with each other, and we have expectations, we have goals to achieve, and we give each other support and we guide each other accordingly. When peer group mentoring or a group mentoring it could be one or two mentor, and they have multiple numbers of mentees. One of the group mentoring program that I currently chair in Charlotte, North Carolina, has one leader and has 4 mentees. They all meet at a mutually convenient time all together, and every mentee gets to ask their questions or support or guidance question or opinion or suggestion, and other mentees get to listen to it while they benefit from it, whether or not that was one of the part of their questions. These two kind of mentoring relationships, both the mentoring relationships are very valuable. Now, what happens when you mentor people? as far as I know, from the most generic understanding of mentoring, the mentees are, oh, we get to learn, we get to pass it forward, we get to help people in, we get to do our karma, we get to be there for someone. I'm just giving back. This is my time to give back. That's what most of the mentors share as one of the reasons for their mentoring. Now, in Toastmasters world, mentoring is extremely important. I'll tell you why. Because when we have our club and when we have new members join in, it is a very good chance that most of the members either do not know everything about Toastmasters, or they know, but they don't know it enough to be able to take maximum advantage of it. In addition, sometimes if we have, like Carol was telling me that this Toastmaster has approximately 25 plus members and there's so many guests that comes in. Now, out of 25 members, not every member is going to get an opportunity to speak during every meeting, because there's only 1 or 1.5 hours that you're going to have for your meeting. So it's a good idea to have mentors, because those mentors are going to keep up with the mentees or with the new members, guide them, help them achieve their goals, be them, be there for them to make sure that they are making the mentees accountable for their growth, for their commitment, for the accomplishment. And if nothing more, then just make sure that mentors are able to be in touch with mentees to make sure that they're regularly attending meetings and renewing their dues, even if they're not able to be consistent at completing their speeches. Another advantage that I can share is at work, in my team, I have a mentor-mentee relationship system. Whenever we have our senior peers, they are the mentors, or they are the peer mentors for our junior level or junior experience team members, so that junior experienced team members have someone to go to immediately when they have questions, versus waiting for me or the manager to answer their questions. Because we all have our deliverables to our managers, and we all have meetings and deliverables, and making sure that we are occupied during the day to complete our work. In that situation, it's not necessary that you're going to be able to help all your team members or subordinates or your peers. So having a peer mentoring group within your work team can be a fantastic knowledge transferring, supporting each other, and having a culture of working together, and not a culture of superiority that, oh, well, Mark, I am more senior to you, so you know what? Just make sure you ask me before you have to do this next time. No, Mark, let's work together. How can I help you? Oh, is this what your suggestion is? Let me see. When I did the same project, this is what I did. Let me share my template with you, Mark, and let's see if you like that, or if you'd like to add your flavor in. That way, I'm able to share my experience and my lessons learned with Mark. And Mark is just an example. Of course, I'm not his senior by all means, but it was just an example. So I'm able to share my templates, my experiences with my peer group or with my team members, and make sure that we all as a team are successful. Now, mentor-mentees can be matched formally, or you can actually be self-proclaimed your mentors or mentees. It could be, it depends on the setting that you have. Now, mentor-mentee playbook, sometimes we can match people. We can match people depending on what their goals are. Say, for example, if my goal is same as Michelle's goal, when I and Michelle want to make sure that we at least prepare for one speech in 3 months, and we are able to present one speech in 3 months in our Toastmasters meeting, just one speech, 3 months for 5 to 7 minutes. So if I have already been in Toastmaster or in that club just a little more, or I have completed a couple of more speeches than Michelle, I can share my motivation, my story, my guidance, or something that I can do to help Michelle and keep her going or keep her motivated. So we could be a good match. In addition, it could also be that we can be a good match if we are from the same line of business, if you're doing this at work, if we are from same technology background, if you're from same high school, if you're from the same culture, if we're from same region, or if we have same native language that we both have understood or that we both have used in the past. There could be different ways to make mentor and mentee pairings. And just like Nathalie mentioned, it's a win-win situation. Mentor and mentee both gets to learn. Mentoring is a very important stepping stone for the independence of the mentee. Thank you, Regis, for sharing that. Daniela also says that makes both accountable with the growth. And I feel somewhere this audience had an access to my computer presentation, or they have hacked my presentation, because it looks like you all exactly know what I was going to cover. This is a top-notch audience, and I'm so delighted to have you all. Now, definitely, whenever we do anything, whether we are learning something, whether we are having social hour, whether we are having a fun time, whether we are having examination, or whether we are reading a book, everything comes with suggestions of do's and don'ts. So just like that, I have experience, from my experience, I've come up with some do's and don'ts when you're a mentor or mentee that can probably help you as a guideline if you want to have a successful relationship. Now, do know that this worked for me and this worked for my mentees, and they all are still sane and alive and in a working condition. So probably this will help you too. But guess what? It can be customizable. It can be depending on your situation. And I'm always here if you would want to have a customized solution or any questions on anything that you'd like to know from me. But these are the do's and don'ts when you want to establish any relationship with mentor and a mentee. I'm not going to go through each one of them because this is going to be a part of your document that our wonderful Carol is going to share with you guys. But lastly, I would like to share one message with you. Anything you do in life, including mentoring someone or being a mentee, when you try and focus on respecting each other and being genuine with each other, any relationship can be the best partnership that both the parties can benefit from. I repeat, being respectful and being genuine. With that said, I'm going to put my email address in the chat to make sure that you are able to reach out to me if you have any questions, if you need me to speak in your club, if you need a keynote, or if you need to bounce off of ideas of me or share any of my, use any of my templates that I already have. But with that said, over to you, Carol. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nehal. That was great. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is an amazing lady who I bounce all of my ideas off. Please welcome Margaret Blackstock with Take the Time.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a very nice introduction. I have a question for you. We have had a lot of times where we were told to shelter in place. What have you accomplished? Have you decorated your house? Did you write a book? Did you Netflix binge? Or did you build a business? Sitting at home, binging on Mandalorian, I apprehended the thought, oh, I had not talked to some of my friends for ages. I decided then and there that I was going to take the time. Please join me as I do a little journey. If I can do, okay. Every time I do this, there we go. From beginning, there we go. Now, question, can you see, take the time? Whoops. I can't. right, we will do it without slides today. Then that's fine. It was working earlier. All right. So when I was a young person, or a long time ago in the 70s and 80s, there was this American show called Cheers. And Cheers had a theme song, and the theme song went like this. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name. It is in your package. What I'm going to talk about tonight is sometimes you just want to go and be with people who know you and who know your name. First thing you want to make sure is that you know their name. When I was working at the library, I was helping this lady and I got her books all ready. And I said, "See you later, Eleanor." And she left the building and she turned back and came walking back to me. And she had tears streaming down her face. I said, "Eleanor, what's the matter?" And she sobbed, "I haven't heard my name in months. I've been sick. It just really touched my heart." And I looked at her and I thought, that story touched my heart. I did not realize that some people are that lonely that they don't hear their name. Now, on that hand, don't call me Maggie. My name is Margaret. I don't like the sound of Maggie. People really, really like to know that you know their name. The big thing with Zoom making our world smaller is we have all kinds of countries and different languages, and we're all meeting on this one little box. And I really, really think it's important that we take the time to learn how to pronounce their names correctly. I think it's important that we get it right when we are introduced to them. It's important also because we have to be respectful. To be respectful means that you've taken the time to learn their name and maybe even learn something about them. If you see their name in writing and you don't know how to pronounce their name, there are a couple of websites you can go to help you pronounce their name, and you can practice before you meet them. I have this very organized friend who keeps a spreadsheet, and she tracks everybody that comes and goes out of a club that's had over 300 guests. Can you imagine how great that person feels when she says, "Welcome back, Ken," and they know that she remembered them? They really, really do like to hear their name. When you are chatting with people, I don't know if you find it hard to chat with people, but I've had lots of people say to me, "I get in a breakout room or I get in a meeting and I don't know what to say to people." I have one of these things in a visual that you can use that might help you. When you find out their name, ask where they live. And if they say they're a farmer, make a picture of a farm in your head. Then when you continue talking, you can expand that picture. You can ask them if they travel, and you can put a jet in the sky that's going to Hawaii or Australia or whatever. Or if they don't travel, the next thing you could ask was maybe, "Do you have any hobbies?" Or "What kinds of things do you really enjoy doing in the evenings or after work?" When they tell you your hobby, the hobby they like, you can put that little picture on their airplane. So now you have a picture of their home. You have the airplane. Maybe if they don't travel, you put the hobbies in the yard on the home. And towards the end, you can ask about family, about children, married, that kind of thing. But it does help to keep That mental picture helps me, at least because I remember better with pictures than I do with a Word document. I have always enjoyed going places. And sometimes when you go places, you're not sure the people were happy that you were there. This goes to the second point that I was going to make about they were always glad you came. When you are in a meeting or when you were with people, have that attitude that you are glad that they're there, that they've taken this time to spend with you. It just makes it so much more fun. I was at a huge meeting, and as I entered the meeting and my picture came up on the screen, one of the organizers says, "Oh, hi, Margaret, I haven't seen you for a long time." Well, my buttons just about popped off my shirt. Wow, one of the organizers recognized me. Then he said, "What about," and he asked a work-related question. So he wasn't really glad to see me. He wanted an answer to his question. I found that a little disconcerting. It's always nice when you go to a meeting and everyone is glad that you're there and they take time to have a conversation with you. If your voice or your eyes aren't matching what you're saying, it doesn't work. The Zoom platform really magnifies whether your happy people are there or not. We have a fellow in one of our clubs who is super enthusiastic. He's always happy, and he has the best manners. When he asks people to step forward, he says, "Please, would you take the lectern?" When you're finished, he goes, "Thank you so much." And you can tell that it's heartfelt. This means so much to people when they do that. It just makes you feel like he's glad you came. The other night I was visiting or at a meeting, and we were talking about membership and fees and that kind of thing. And when we were finished, my son said to me, "Mom, you were really rude." And I had to take a step back. I thought, "No, I wasn't. What are you talking about?" And then he explained that he'd heard me trying to talk over someone that was already talking. Basically, online, if it would have been in person, I would have been interrupting. One of the things we need to make sure is that we are being and doing our best manners when we are chatting. On Zoom, I don't know if you've noticed this, but two people start talking at once. "Oh, no, you go ahead. No, that's okay. You go first. No, you go first. No, you go first. No, you go first." We do need to have some sort of chairperson that can say, "John, please, would you go first? And then we will have so-and-so." We need to keep our manners. We need to be respectful. And I think I've heard that once before or a couple times tonight, of other people and their feelings. We really want to have a good relationship with people. And if people know that you know their name because you took the time to learn it properly and that you're glad to see them, then they will be happy to share and be authentic with their troubles. In Toastmasters International, one of the things I love most is with the educational program, people have to give speeches. And you find out about people very quickly. Within 2 or 3 months, you're fast friends because you've shared speeches about some of the hardest parts of your life, because the heartfelt speeches are the ones that really resonate with people. You have so much that we share when you're in a group, your fellow club members. We have had deaths within our club where we've gathered around the person who lost a father. We've gathered around somebody who was really ill. We support and help each other. And that is part of being and seeing that we're there for each other in troubles. What I'm trying to say tonight, and what I've been learning over this last 5 months, is we need to take the time to know their name. We need to take the time and flip the attitude to be glad that they came to whatever meeting. And we need to take the time to see that our troubles are all the same. Fellow attendees, the whole message tonight is take the time for the people in your life and in your clubs and in your business.